Second albums are often considered as a true test of an artist's staying power. The pressure to follow up a successful debut album can often lead to a disappointing follow-up. That phenomenon is known as the sophomore slump, but some albums manage to escape that. In part 1, we looked at 8 of the best sophomore albums of all time, and in this video, we look at 8 more. Whitney by Whitney Houston. Following the tremendous success of her debut album, which included hits like How Will I Know and The Greatest Love of All, Whitney Houston faced immense pressure to deliver the follow-up. Her sophomore, Whitney, was released on June 2, 1987, and it did not disappoint. The album seamlessly blended pop, R&B, and dance music, and produced a string of hit singles, each demonstrating different facets of Whitney's talent. The album spawned 4 #1 singles on the Billboard Hot 100, including I Wanna Dance with Somebody Who Loves Me, Didn't We Almost Have It All, So Emotional, and Where Do Broken Hearts Go? The album debuted on #1 on the Billboard 200, making Whitney the first woman to achieve this feat. The album's commercial success was staggering, selling over 20 million records worldwide. She became a global icon, breaking barriers for black artists in a predominantly white pop music industry. Her success opened doors for future generations of artists, proving that exceptional talent beats all. Beauty Behind the Madness by The Weeknd. After the release of his debut album, The Weeknd was known for his enigmatic style and dark and moody R&B sound. His trilogy of mixtapes and his debut album had set high expectations, and the music world was eagerly anticipating his next move. His sophomore album, Beauty Behind the Madness, was released on August 28, 2015, and it did not disappoint, showcasing a more polished and mainstream-friendly sound while maintaining the introspective and edgy qualities that his core fans loved. The album marked his transition from an underground sensation to a mainstream pop star, featuring hits like Can't Feel My Face, The Hills, and Earned It. The album blended dark R&B with pop sensibilities. The album debuted on #1 on the Billboard 200, selling 412,000 album equivalent units in its first week. It became one of the best-selling albums of the year and earned several Grammy nominations, including Album of the Year. This is the album that catapulted The Weeknd to pop superstardom. My Everything by Ariana Grande. Following the success of Yours Truly, which debuted on #1 on the Billboard 200, expectations were high for Ariana's follow-up album. She had already established herself as a rising star with a powerful voice and a charming public persona. Her sophomore album, My Everything, was released on August 25, 2014, and it marked a significant evolution in Ariana's sound and artistic vision. The album features a mix of pop, R&B, EDM, and hip-hop influences, showcasing her versatility and willingness to experiment with different genres, featuring hit singles like Problem, Break Free, Bang Bang, and Love Me Harder. The album put Ariana on a path to superstardom. The album debuted on #1 on the Billboard 200, selling 169,000 copies in its first week. My Everything remains a significant milestone in Ariana's career, and the album that let us know that she would be here for a while. Guts by Olivia Rodrigo. Following the massive success of her debut album Sour, which is now one of the most streamed albums of all time, the pressure to come with a worthy follow-up was very high, and Olivia's sophomore album Guts lived up to expectations as it continued to explore themes of heartbreak, identity, and youth. The album received widespread acclaim for its lyrical depth, emotional honesty, and her growth as a songwriter. It was preceded by the first single, Vampire, which topped the Billboard Hot 100, and the following singles, Bad Idea, Right, and Get Him Back, highlighted her ability to blend pop punk and alternative influences with modern pop, which has defined Olivia's unique sound. Guts debuted on #1 on the Billboard 200, selling 302,000 album equivalent units in its first week. The album further established Olivia as the leading voice of her generation. Melodrama by Lorde. Following the critical and commercial success of Pure Heroin, the anticipation for Lorde's second album was huge. The music world was eager to see how the young artist would evolve and whether she could replicate the success of her debut. During the 4-year gap between albums, Lorde took time to grow personally and artistically. That deeply influenced the creation of her sophomore album. Melodrama was released on June 16, 2017, and marked a significant evolution in Lorde's sound and lyrical depth. It is a concept album that explores the highs and lows of a house party, serving as a metaphor for young adulthood and the complexities of modern relationships. The album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, selling 109,000 album equivalent units in its first week. Its commercial success was accompanied by widespread critical acclaim, as it is considered as one of the best pop albums of the 2010s. It remains a significant milestone in Lorde's career and in the history of pop music. Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish, with her debut album When We All Fall Asleep Where Do We Go, made a huge mark on the music industry. Released in 2019, the album's unique blend of haunting melodies, introspective lyrics, and genre-defining production quickly established her as a generational voice. Following that massive success and cleaning up at the Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year, the anticipation for her second album was huge. During the period between her debut and her follow-up, she underwent significant personal and artistic growth, and there was also a global pandemic. These experiences deeply influenced the creation of her sophomore album. Billie's second album, Happier Than Ever, marked a significant evolution in her sound and artistic vision, moving away from the minimalist production of her debut album. It featured more sophisticated arrangements. Songs like Your Power, Lost Cause, and the title track Happier Than Ever showcased her growth as a songwriter and vocalist. The album debuted at the top of the Billboard 200, with 238,000 album equivalent units sold in its first week. It also received critical acclaim for its vulnerability and experimental nature, earning multiple Grammy nominations. FutureSex LoveSounds by Justin Timberlake. Justin started off his career as a part of the legendary boy band NSYNC, following the success of Justified, his debut solo album, which featured hits like Cry Me a River and Rock Your Body. Expectations were high for Justin's next move. He had already established himself as a credible solo star, but the pressure to innovate and surpass his debut was there. His sophomore album, FutureSex LoveSounds, became a groundbreaking album that redefined pop and R&B in the mid-2000s. The album's fusion of pop, R&B, and electronic influences showcased JT's versatility and willingness to push boundaries. Collaborating with producer Timbaland, they created a futuristic sound characterized by seamless genre blending. The album featured hits like Sexy Back, My Love, and What Goes Around Comes Around, which dominated the charts. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, selling 684,000 copies in its first week. It went on to sell more than 10 million copies worldwide and earned several Grammy Awards, establishing Justin Timberlake as a major force in the music industry. Unorthodox Jukebox by Bruno Mars. Following the success of his debut Doo-Wops and Hooligans, Bruno faced immense pressure to deliver a follow-up album that could match it. He had become known for his smooth vocals, catchy hooks, and charismatic stage presence. Unorthodox Jukebox was the follow-up, released on December 7, 2012, represented a significant evolution in Bruno's sound. The album featured chart-topping singles like Locked Out of Heaven and When I Was Your Man. His charismatic performances and versatile vocal ability earned him critical acclaim and commercial success. The album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, selling 192,000 copies in its first week. It also won him a Grammy Award for Best Pop Vocal Album, solidifying his place as a true pop star. Bruno's ability to blend retro sounds with modern pop music has made him one of the biggest superstars of his generation. Which albums did I miss? Tell me in the comments below.